despite what people may tell you, despite what your parents may want you to think, despite what anybody wants, whatever the person, someone else that's not you wants you to be, just be yourself. Above all else, just be yourself. And people may ask, how do you be yourself? Because it's a great question. For starters, you may not know who you truly are, because you may not know, for example, what your traits are, what your character traits are, what you value, what you believe in, what you stand for, what's the word? Maybe you'll just basic, like the personality you have, what you're good at, what you're not good at. And I understand completely, because I was this way. I was this way when I was younger, and especially when I was, especially in my early teenage years. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I stood for. I didn't know why I did what I did. I didn't understand why I believed what I believe at that time. But the point of, or the whole meaning of being yourself is first searching out what you stand for and what your values and belief systems are, and who you are and what you're not. And to do this, it's going to take some introspection. You're going to have to analyze why you get, like, for example, what you get mad at and why you get mad at something, what you believe in, why you believe that, why you act a certain way and how that affects you, and why you act a certain way. And then through that introspection, again, you find out what you believe, what you value, how you act, why you act a certain way, how you think, and how you think a certain way. And there's some other things too. And then once you find out what you think and everything about you, then you start to compile basically a data file of who you are for yourself. And once you start compiling that data file, because it's not an actual data file, but it's a metaphorical data file, then you start to realize what's best for you and what is not. For example, if you're a person that's, more on the quieter side, you don't like being around large crowds, then maybe, going to concerts is probably not right for you. Maybe reading a book and meditation and, going for walks alone. If you have a dog, with your dog, or if you have a cat, just hanging out with your cat is better for you. And the flip side, if you're more extroverted and you like to be around a lot of people, then maybe concerts, sports, athletic things, going to the gym, will be better for you. Just more, in general, more social situations would probably be better for you. And so basically what I'm saying is you start to find out what's better for you and what is not, because you start to realize who you are and what you need. And some people may want you to act a certain way. Some people may want you to think certain things. And especially in the age of social media, people want you to think a certain way. Not everybody, don't get me wrong. But there are people out there who want you to think a certain way, act a certain way, believe the same things, and just operate in the same way like robots coming off the assembly line. That doesn't mean you have to adopt those belief systems, values, ideals, act that way, believe that thing. Doesn't mean you have to do that. You can be your own person. Which means even if, for example, if you say if you know that what you say is gonna make someone else angry, but if it's what you believe, then stand up for what you believe in. Don't get me wrong, question what you believe before you accept it as gospel or before you assimilate it into basically your thought process or through your belief system or through your worldview. But stand for what you believe in. Like, stand up for what you believe in. Because people, again, even your parents might want you to think a certain way. They might want you to act a certain way. They might want to, decide who you should hang out with or who you should even date. And arguably, maybe they have that right, maybe not. That's not for me to debate at this point in my life. It's not. But the point is to, again, by defending principles, it helps you basically figure out who you are. You're basically building a foundation and you're constructing little by little over time the building and the skyscraper that is you. And it all starts in childhood, obviously, because you're raised a certain way. That's your foundation. Then your parents tell you, or if you don't have a parent at home, that still affects you. But your parents tell you what is right, what is wrong, what is moral, what is not, what is good, what is evil, what is disgusting, what is okay, what is moral, what is immoral. The list goes on. And then when you start going into school, then you start to learn, okay, what is accepted behavior, what is not accepted behavior, what is going to get me laughed at, what is going to get me in a cool kid crowd, what is going to get me in fights, what is going to keep me in peace, how am I going to avoid being made fun of or laughed at or being the weird kid or being an outsider or a pariah, which is just another word for a social outcast. And then it leads you to your adulthood, which basically, you figure out love, dating, relationships, independence. Why do you believe what you believe? Who are you? What do you stand for? And so my point is that it all starts in childhood. Yeah. It doesn't mean that what happened to you in childhood is the sole reason why you are where you are now. But that's where it starts. For example, people that didn't really get the most care that they probably needed, they'll probably be more attention seekers. For example, they might be posting more things on social media. They might be showing off things because they want people to look at them and give attention to them because they didn't get that attention when they were younger. And basically, this is known as one of the 3 types of attachment styles. It's called the anxious attachment style, where basically you're not secure in who you are, so you're always looking for validation to confirm that you are a certain way. For example, if someone thinks that They might not be good enough. They might be ugly. If they think they're fat, if they think they're, disgusting, if they think they're a bad person, they'll probably do one of two things. They'll either, the first one would be to justify it and basically sulk in that they're, whatever negative connotation or whatever negative attribute they want to they want to apply to themselves. Or the second one would be that, they tried to, or there's technically three things. The second one would be to deflect it basically and seek validation to distract themselves from the negative attribute they're applying to themselves. For example, if someone was neglected, then they will look for means of validation that basically reminds them that they weren't neglected and that they weren't, just left there and they didn't get enough attention as a kid. And this could be through, sexual immorality. It could be through, a bunch of other things. But, and I think that that's okay, Yeah, that's okay. No human is perfect. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. That's okay. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life. I'm not perfect, but that's okay. And as humans, we need to accept that we're not perfect. Social media may have you think that everybody is perfect and everybody is the all-seeing eye and we must bow down to them because they have more money than us. It's like, no, we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't have to do that either. And we definitely shouldn't do it. Because if you worship celebrities, you will be disappointed. If you worship Taylor Swift, you will be disappointed. If you worship Kanye West, you will be disappointed. Because they're humans. If you worship Don Toliver or Travis Scott or, I don't know, Megan Fox, or you can list whatever celebrity you want or any person that's rich. If you worship Alex Hormozy, you will be disappointed because he is a human. And humans make mistakes all the time. That doesn't mean they can't be good at things. For example, I'll give Alex Hormozy credit. The dude knows a lot about business. Don't get me wrong. But he's a human. And he makes a lot of mistakes. Just like anybody else. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, we just need to be ourselves. And that means just being different from everybody else. It doesn't mean you can't have shared values or shared ideals, but it means that we shouldn't be exactly like everybody else. Instead, we all have our own personalities, we all have our own character traits, we all have our own strengths, we all have our own weaknesses, and we all have our own flaws. And we all have our own personalities, obviously. And that's okay. We shouldn't... The analogy I have, it's like trying to fit a square... It's trying to fit a square box into a triangle. That's not going to happen. You just can't do that. Excuse me. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot more analogies you can use for it. For example, it would be like trying to take it's like trying to take an engineer and making him into day trading and trying to make it and expecting him to be a genius trader in the first 2 weeks or first week or even after 2 months. That's just not going to happen. Doesn't mean it can't ever happen. But different individuals' personalities are suited for different things. I can use a couple examples. I'm just going to use one example to not, be redundant, because I probably am. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's like how a person who is calmer, more patient, more forgiving would be more likely to be a doctor, considering, or in someone who's less likely to break under pressure would more likely be a doctor, considering that you're going to be under a higher stress environment and you're going to have to perform to the best of your ability. You're going to have to be pretty much near perfect, because if you mess up, that can mean the patient's life. And you want to make sure that they can walk out of there pretty much perfect. It doesn't mean that they're going to be the exact same person that they were before the surgery, but it means that they survive. And it means that they're okay and they can live their lives. And again, there goes so many more examples, but if I could try to make a path for individuals when it comes to figuring out how to be yourself, start with introspection. That's the first step. Figure out who you are, what you believe in, and why you believe what you believe. And then number 2, know who you are, or know what you are and what you're not. That's step 2. Step 3 is, once you know what you are and what you're not, start to figure out what is best for you and what is not best for you. And then once you figure those 2 things out, then step 4 would be to practice things that are better for you and practice less things that are not good for you. For example, if spending 6 hours a day on video games is not what's best for you, and reading or meditation or waking up earlier is better for you, then wake up earlier and read more and meditate more and spend less time on video games. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, don't get me wrong. It's going to take time to figure it out and achieve it, but that's okay. The harder it is, the more worth doing it is. Like, not everything worth doing is easy. It's going to be hard. That's fine. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. Just have faith in yourself. You're going to be okay. Just have faith in the process, because it will work out. As long as you say to yourself, no matter how bad things are, I will never give up. I will always look forward to another day. Because no matter what, if you have the mindset that no matter how bad things get, that you always look forward to tomorrow, that you have faith that tomorrow will be better, no matter how bad today was, then you always will have something to live for, always. So bottom line, just be yourself. And everything else will fall into place. Don't get me wrong. You're going to need other things too. Just being yourself is not going to get you 100% of the way to where you want to be, but it's a great step in the right direction. Again, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you.